and then I was like, no, and then let's get started. Hey beauties, thank you so much for joining me. Today I thought we'd try something new and do a get ready with me kind of video. My friend Sarah over at Revamp and Radiate here on YouTube, she was so kind to send me a few things in the mail. This was a few weeks ago already, so thank you so much, Sarah. We're normally shade twins with majority of the other foundations, and she sent me TIRTIR Cushion Foundation, which I love. But she sent me 23N Sand, and I'm normally 25N Mocha, and then 27N Camel in the summertime. But I can still make it work. So I'm going to show you how I make this lighter shade work. And another thing that I was going to try, not in this video, but another time, I think this could be a good shade for concealer, and I can use this as concealer. Okay, so let's get started. So because it's a touch too light for me, I'm gonna go in with e.l.f. bronzing drops in pure gold. You can use any other kind of bronzing drops, but this is the one that I'm gonna use today. So I'm just gonna squirt a little bit out onto my hands. So I normally don't talk like when I do my makeup. I have very few moments of privacy to myself, so certain things I like to do in silence normally. I'm starting in the middle of my face, and then we're just gonna put this all over. Like sometimes my husband likes to come and chat with me while I'm doing my makeup, and then I feel bad because I do like the but like I said, I'm into challenging myself with different things. Let's see if I can chat while I do my makeup, because normally I go into the mode of like, I want to tell you what I'm doing, I want to check out my friend. I usually still get like hormonal acne down on my chin, but that one's like, hi. Let's see, a little bit more of the bronzing drops. Where was I? It's been about 10 days-ish, I think, since I even put makeup on my face. We've had a bit of a interesting week. Get that into the hairline. So, okay, where do I start? I have shoulder issues. Usually it's my right shoulder. When I was 14, I had a back injury and both my shoulders were dislocated at the same time. Maybe I'll tell you that story another time. So I actually have scoliosis since the age of 14. It's manageable most days. And it's not normally my back that bothers me anymore. It's my shoulders. Like my back, I guess it causes everything to go out of alignment in my body, and it's been frustrating. Anyway, so let's see, maybe what was it? Like Monday? Today is Wednesday, February 26th. When I'm filming, who knows when this is gonna get uploaded. Hang on, focus. Okay, so that's all even, pretty even. Now we're going to go in with the TIRTIR Cushion Foundation, the red one, in the shade 23N. I don't mind this applicator. Some people have issues with it. Sometimes I still buff it out with foundation brush. But with this foundation, I start by patting it in. I always start around my nose. That's where I get the most redness. See, there you go again, talking about the makeup and the application. Anyway, what was I saying? So my shoulder started to have issues, I think like last Monday. So not this past Monday that just passed, but the Monday before. And then usually when that happens, like I go to a traditional Chinese doctor and she can normally help me kind of put it back in place and make it pain-free and functional again. But on Wednesday of last week, my son came home sick the last Tuesday from school at lunchtime. Nothing too major. He just said he was tired and like just not feeling low energy. But you know, checked. He had no fever, no temperature, and he was actually still eating. Usually when he gets sick, he loses his appetite. But he was still eating, like not a lot, but not like nothing to cause alarm. What happened? What happened was, in the evening, I asked him if he was ready for dinner. I think he was asleep, so he told me that he wasn't hungry. And my kids don't eat the same things, so I make 2 different dinners every night. I know it seems kind of extra, but for a while there, when my daughter was way younger, she would barely eat anything. So you know, for us parents out there, you want your kid to eat, so you'll do whatever it takes to get them to eat, within reason though, right? But so she didn't eat meat until maybe like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And then, okay, I think that's good. See, I get carried away when I'm chatting. I'll get better at this. I'll keep practicing. Then I'm just gonna go in quickly with my BK Beauty 101 and buff this in, especially around my nose, my large pores. Where was I? Yeah, so 2 different dinners for my kids. And my husband works through the night at Amazon, so I'm usually by myself. Not usually, I am by myself upstairs. Like my work partner, Johnny, he also lives in the house with us, but he lives downstairs. Just gonna prep my eyes. MAC paint pot in soft ochre. Mini kabuki brush from Amazon. So yeah, he told me, he's like, Mom, I'm not hungry. I said, okay. And then I told him I'd come back and check on him in a bit to see if he was hungry. And about, I don't know, like half an hour or so after that, I was in my bedroom, and then I heard my son's bedroom is in the very front of the house. I heard his door open, and I heard him walking down the hall to this bathroom that I'm filming in. And my bedroom is like right there. So this right here is the hallway. When I heard him approaching this bathroom, my bedroom door was open. I called out to him and I'm like, son, are you hungry yet? And he said, no, Mom, I really have to pee. So I said, okay. And then in a second, he like fell backwards just a tiny bit because he was standing in the hallway right against the wall. And then he slid like all the way down to the ground. At first, honestly, I thought he was just being dramatic. So I was like, I called out his name and I'm like, what are you doing? And then when I came to where he was like not with it, like not coherent. I called his name a few times and then he's like disoriented. And then I was like, oh, what's up with you? And then he just said to me, he's like, Mom, I told you I really have to pee. I said, okay. I helped him up with my left arm because my right arm wasn't working so well. And then I put him into this bathroom and then I closed the door. And hold on. Okay, now we're gonna powder the eyes. I have oily eyelids, so I need this kind of prep to get my eyeshadow to stay. Okay. I'm just using House Labs translucent bio blurring loose setting powder and Nikki's N14. So then as soon as I closed the door, and I stayed close, like I stood on just the outside of the door, within like 2 seconds I heard like the loudest crash, like loud. So I started calling his name. Eyebrows. So I'm gonna do my cocoa powder from Pink Honey. Okay, yeah, so apologize for the ums and the so's and the trying to remember where I am in my story. So I called his name about 10 times and he didn't, like, there was no response. And of course I'm starting to panic. So I started knocking on the door, no response. And then I finally pushed the door open. Like, I let him know, I'm like, it's Mom, I'm coming in now. Because he's 15, he'll be 16 later this year. And he's approaching 6 feet tall and he's 155 pounds right now. And I know this because they ended up weighing him at the hospital. I'm jumping all over the place. Anyway, so I pushed the door open, but it was difficult because I guess he fainted now for the second time. He fainted and half of his body was like, you know, up against the door and blocking it. So when I opened the door and I saw his like slumped over body again, I'm like, oh my God. Called his name again 3 times, and then he opened his eyes and he was like, what? Like, what am I doing here? And the first thing I asked him, I said, Drayden, did you pass out? Like, did you lose consciousness? And he's like, no, I just really have to pee, Mom. He's like, I'm fine. I just really have to pee. So I'm like, okay. I helped him up again with my left arm. And same thing, stepped outside, closed the door, and then I heard a crash again. And by this time, my work partner, housemate, longtime best friend, Johnny, who lives downstairs, he texted me and he was like, oh my God, are you guys okay? Like, I'm hearing some loud crashes upstairs. Like do you need help? Is everyone all right? So then I just quickly replied saying like, no, I think Drayden's passed out again. And he came running upstairs. I came in for the 3rd time now. And I'm like, son. And he's like, what happened? What's going on? And I'm like, did you hit your head? And he goes, you know what? I think I did. He goes, I don't recall hitting it. He goes, but my head hurts. So he had fallen twice inside this bathroom and hit his head at least once. We don't know if it happened twice or not. Hit his head on the bathtub. So then right away, I'm like, okay, now I'm scrambling, like scrambling mom, you know? And I'm like, okay, I gotta take him to Children's Hospital emergency. We don't normally do the hospital because our healthcare isn't, I don't want to say it's not great. It's just the wait time in a hospital is like long hours. So anyway, I discovered at the time when I was trying to like pick him up that he did have a fever at this point, but I didn't feel the need or have time to check what temperature it was, because my plan was just to like get him to my Jeep and get him over to the hospital. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm taking forever on these eyebrows. But thankfully, at this point, Johnny had come upstairs and he helped me carry him downstairs to my Jeep. Not carry him, but like aid him in walking. And then the drive over to the hospital, it's not far. It's like less than 10 minute drive. But I drive standard. And with my non-working right arm. It's like I'm driving and I'm shifting gears with my left hand. Because this is my first time doing a get ready with me style video, I don't know what we're gonna end up cutting out or what we're gonna speed up, just to not make this video like so long and boring. But yeah, thank you again for bearing with me through my journey, my learning process, all the different ways that I'm challenging myself. I've been having fun, and I so appreciate all of you. Okay, so we go to the hospital, and yes, it's a long wait, but I guess, oh my gosh, it's so sad. Like it was so packed, like so many parents with their, you know, little kids who aren't feeling so well. But I guess because my son lost consciousness, he was a little bit more of a priority. Because man, after it took about an hour in the waiting room. Then we got a bed. He got a bed. But every time I left his room to go and I like find whatever, I was like washroom or whatever, like the same families were still waiting in the waiting area. And then like it was like overflowed. So parents and their little kids were like lying on the hospital floors, and the nurses are doing everything that they can. There was even one nurse who was out there trying to like keep everybody happy or keep everybody. I really need to move this along. I can't believe I'm still on my eyebrows. Okay, I'm not working today, so. But I do plan on filming another video after this, so I kind of want to look decent. Good enough? Almost good enough. I'm just gonna call it and say it's good enough. Now for eyeshadow, so cute. Sarah sent me a palette, an eyeshadow palette from M Cosmetics, and I've been wanting to try M Cosmetics for a while now. It is the Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in Faded Clementine. So let's see what kind of look we're gonna come up with. Let me see the colors. But first, I think I'm gonna start with Patrick Ta Major Dimensions number 3, just to get transition shade happening. Let's see. I'm gonna go in with Refer 33 and the shade Classic. This one. So where was I? Talking about my son and the hospital experience. And he's never been to the hospital in his 15 years of life. The last time he was to the hospital was when I gave birth to him. We were there for a bunch of hours, and they took his blood test, sugar test. He eventually did a pee test as well. And then he had to have multiple blood pressure tests and EKGs. I guess they were trying to figure out why he was passing out. And he had to do these tests in 3 different positions. Lying down, sitting up, standing up. And the first time he did the standing up test, he fainted again. So the machine started beeping and his heart rate like skyrocketed, and he fainted again. And then he's face down on his bed, and the nurse is like kind of flipped him over and started calling his name and like rubbing his chest, like, you know how if you ever watch like doctor shows or like emergency room shows. So I again was a little bit like, oh my god, but he came to within a few seconds, and the nurse immediately was like, okay, the next few times that we do these tests, we're going to skip the standing one because they didn't want him to faint again. But at least now they also knew that like I wasn't making it up, because I guess a lot of his tests were coming back like good, so it was showing that, or it was confusing them as to why he was passing out. But eventually they figured out that it was just not just it, but I say just because my son is really grateful that it was what it was. It was just extreme dehydration from his fever. So he was on a lot of liquids, juices, and then we had to do like hourly tests to make sure that, and slowly his numbers started getting better, started climbing again. Oh, and he was also diagnosed with low blood pressure. So we have to be mindful with that. Okay, now on to the eyeshadow palette with M Cosmetics. Are we gonna do something? No, because normally like this is my jam, right? So let's do something a little bit different. I'm gonna take a clean Refer 01 and the shade, what is at the top? Faded Clementine. Oh, because that's what this palette is called. So let's use that shade. Okay. I think we got home maybe around 5:30 in the morning. And man, does that adrenaline work well. I was so tired. So by then, I'd almost been awake for 24 hours by that time. My husband was worried. So he left work. He stopped by the hospital because of course he wanted to lay his own eyes, like see his son, his firstborn son, even though I was telling him like, we're okay, we're okay. And then he stayed for just a little bit, and then he came home just to be in the house because our daughter was already asleep by now. And she wasn't alone though. We had another family friend come over and hang out with her. And like I said, Johnny lives in the house with us. He's just downstairs. But she had, you know, I offered for her to skip school the following day. And she was like, no, I have a passion project to work on. So she's like, so I'm going. And I'm like, okay, you're going to have to, you know, put yourself to bed. You know, do your, usually she likes to do bedtime routine with me. Not that she needs to, like she's 12, but it's just a little mommy daughter time, I guess. Oh, look at this color, hey? Like it just blended, it went on like super easy breezy. Okay, are we ready to move on? Let's pull this in just a little bit. Okay, now let's do this shade. Deepen the outer. Would this be Bordeaux? Or no? Eden? Why can't I ever... Eden, maybe. Okay. I am going to... Let's see. I'm going to start with a ColourPop E26. So I'm going to start with pulling it along my lash line. So again, this palette was gifted to me, sent to me from my friend Sarah over at Revamp and Radiate. You guys should check her out. She's awesome. No, I don't like this part. My son's all better by now, by the way. But then after that, Thursday, Thursday my shoulder got even worse. I don't know if it was just lack of sleep, stress, everything all together. I mean, this happens to me, I wouldn't say often, but it happens to me maybe twice a year, once a year, at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. And it's annoying because I never know when it's going to actually happen. And there's different, like, there's different degrees of how bad my shoulder is. Like sometimes it just gets like it's tight, it's sore, then I know I need to give it some extra TLC or give it a break, but it's hard. I don't know how to take breaks. I don't know how to do nothing. That's always what my husband says to me. He's like, lady, can't you just chill? But I'm a doer. I like keeping busy. Not just to keep busy, like if there really is nothing to do, or I'm still working on allowing myself to just chill and do nothing. But yeah, it's like I make pretty much 90% of everybody's meals in this house. I even make my dogs. I have 2 Frenchies. I make their food. I cook their food for them. So, not because I think like, oh, everybody should cook for their dogs. It really is. When I just had the one Frenchie, Devin, sorry, what am I doing? Oh, I need a Shoto 00. Shoto 00, same shade, Eden. She started throwing up her kibble when I don't even think she was 1 yet. But then I was like, oh, okay. Started looking into raw food options, started looking into what I can do to help her. But then I just started cooking their food. And I get the meat from a place about 45 minutes. It's about a 45-minute drive, 45-minute to an hour drive. But the prices actually, it's my best friend Sandra. She usually drives out and picks it up for me, because she has to go and get it for her American Bulldog. And they have like kangaroo meat, they have beef, they have pork, they have chicken. Right now my girls are on duck. Sometimes I get them the kangaroo. But you get like 40 pounds of frozen raw ground up meat, and then I make batches of food for them. So I usually take 3 bricks, and then I put it in a slow cooker or an Instant Pot. I have several recipe concoctions that I've tested out, came up with, and then yeah, they're on rotation. The other times I do a salmon meal. So I get the frozen salmon from Costco. But Devin, my older, she's a blue Frenchie with a tuxedo patch. She's 4, turning 5 in the summer. And then Daphne, the younger one, she's actually turning 3 soon, at the beginning of March. But Devin's favorite meal is lamb chops. Lamb chops from Costco. And I usually stick that in a slow cooker with some coconut oil. And then I also use it to make broth. And then I portion out the broth and add that lamb broth to every other meal that I make for them. What was I talking about before? Oh, talking about all the things that I do. So yeah, this time it was a bad one with my shoulder. Bad as in, like, if I have to start wiping myself after I pee with my left hand and I have to shift gears with my left hand, it's a bad one. Yeah, I'm super happy that I'm mostly back to normal. Like it's a little tight today. So I have to keep in mind to not go too overboard with things. But that's really my own fault. As soon as I'm not in like excruciating pain, I'm like, okay, what do I need to catch up on? What else do I need to do? You know, like not just my clients, not just my mom duties. I think we're getting there. Now let's go in with, hang on, I just want to see which shade is lighter. So this one is Sweet Memory. It's kind of coppery. Ooh. And then this one is Nostalgia. Right, can you see that? This one kind of is like a peachy something. Why don't we do, let's do Sweet Memory. The outer, going into the inner or center. That's pretty. And then Nostalgia, the corner. Pretty, right? Oh, I got a new mic. I'm not using it right now, obviously, because it's like a boom setup, and because I'm trying not to overexert my shoulder, my husband's sleeping right now, so I can't screw it in at the moment. But I'm excited to test that out and see how that works, see if that works better, see if we like that better. Okay, now I need a silicone brush. Let's just smooth this out a little bit. Okay, now same thing on the other side. Silicone brush. Okay, just a little bit more. I just want to deepen up the outer corners. Oh, I actually also just wanted to say hi to Finley. If you're watching, hi. Finley's my niece, my cousin's kid. She's so cute. She actually reminds me a lot of my cousin. I used to babysit her when she was young. I'm 10 years older than my cousin. But yeah, when she was born, oh my goodness, I thought she was the cutest baby I'd ever seen. And her daughter, she has 2 daughters. Her first daughter reminds me so much of her. All right, let's do concealer. Maybe I'll stop talking so we can speed through concealer. All right, let's do some bronzer contouring. I'm gonna use Fenty contour stick in the shade Suedish. No, it's not contour, it's Match Sticks. Sorry, matte contour skin stick. I'm trying to use all the things in my collection that I don't use on the daily or often. Okay. BK Beauty 109. So what else? What else is going on? I actually just booked a trip for my daughter and I. It's gonna be our first mother-daughter getaway. We traveled 2 years ago. No, I guess it's approaching 2 years. Just her and I and my mom. But yeah, that was like our first girls trip. This is first mother-daughter trip. We're going to Minnesota. My son really did not want to go, but my daughter is a fan of snake discovery here on YouTube. Since she was little, she loves reptiles. My husband like hates and is so afraid of snakes. Can't handle snakes like in any way, shape, or form. One time we were staying at a house we had a house in Sedona, and there was a black and green snake out in like the walkway, and he wouldn't leave the house. I get it. I'm not down. Normally not down with reptiles or just anything that's not a mammal, I guess. I'm not even like too crazy about birds. But I respect and love all living things. But just, yeah, especially reptiles. I don't know what it is. Like they freak me out. Or like I don't like. But my daughter, she loves them. And when she was younger, whenever I would ask her, like, what do you want to do? Like if I had time and I'm like, we could hang out, what do you want to do? She immediately, like, Mom, watch Snake Discovery with me. And I started watching it with like that kind of, and she would say, encourage me to, Mom, just like look at their faces. Look beyond their scales or their reptilian things and look at their faces. And then I was like, oh, okay, I guess, yeah, some of them are kind of cute. Some of them have kind of cute faces. Anyway, point of my story is, so right before COVID happened, I was actually even going to hire a reptile guy to come do her birthday, like bring a bunch of reptiles for her and her friends to hang out with and see. But lockdown, COVID, people, we had to, isolate or whatever. So that didn't happen that year. Anyway, so we wanted to take her to Snake Discovery before she outgrew it. She kind of a little bit has, like I said, she's turning 13 this summer. So she a little bit has outgrown it. She's just not as into it as she still loves reptiles. It's not as into it as she was when she was younger. Yeah, like she used to write them fan mail. She used to mail them things, make them things. It was so cute. All right, what's next? Blush. Oh, blush. Another gift from Sara. It's Hourglass in the shade Devoted, like a cream blush stick. I've never tried this formula, so I'm kind of excited to. Okay, so the shade Devoted, I'm gonna start by laying some down on the back of my hand and then pick it up with a brush. So I'm gonna go to my other BK Beauty 109. I use one for contour, bronzer, and one for blush. Just gonna pick it up on the back of my hand. And so yeah, we're just going for like a weekend in May. That weekend, supposedly Emily, the creator or the main person, supposedly Emily should be there that weekend for a meet and greet. My daughter's super shy these days, so I don't even know how much talking she will do, but it'll be nice to see her in person, I guess. It's weird. Like when I do hair, I can talk nonstop. Like, if anything, I don't know how to do hair without talking to my client, to my coworkers. But for some reason, it's just new. Like I said, I'll practice and I'll get better. I don't know what it is about like doing makeup and talking. It's like, what was I talking about? What part was I on my face? So let's talk about this formula and shade. I think it's pretty. Nice and easy blend out. So I think we're pretty good with the blush, right? Thank you again, Sarah. Let's see. Now, what do I normally do at this stage of my makeup? Set my under eyes. We're gonna go in WESTMAN Atelier powder in, what is it, Pink Bubble, I think. I'm gonna set the rest of my face with Haus Labs translucent bio blurring setting powder. Okay. Did I finish my story about my daughter in Minnesota? I feel like I did. Oh yeah, well actually, we're probably gonna check out the Mall of America as well. Okay, let's do my lower lash line. Let's go in with the shade Eden. This one. Never been to Minnesota. Any of you guys? Have you guys been to Minnesota? Is there anything that I should absolutely check out as well? I really like this color story. Totally up my alley. Okay. Let's go in with a Beauty 207 and the shade Faded Clementine. So our flights though to Minnesota, we have, I guess because we're flying American Airlines, we have to fly all the way down to Dallas and have a 3-hour layover and then back up to Minnesota. It's okay. Like, my daughter is an excellent traveler. She's been traveling since on a plane since she was 2 months old. For her very first passport, my husband had to lay or be covered in a white cloth behind her because at that age she was like still wobbly to hold up her head so that the photographer could get an actual decent approved passport photo kind of shot. What are we doing? Eyeliner. Same old Sephora Glide liner. I really am just trying to finish it. There's this much left. I can do it. Yeah, I guess both our kids, they travel really well ever since they were little. They both flew multiple times when they were babies. But my daughter especially, man, we got our money's worth with the whole, like, they're free under 2, right? So they either sit on my lap or sit on my husband's lap. But yeah, before she turned 2, she went on 9 plane rides. She's very well traveled. My son is also very well traveled, and I'm very grateful because we go on plane rides a lot. Because back then, when my kids were like 4 and 2, around that age, I was still traveling quite a bit for work, and I would often bring the whole family along with me, because at that time my husband was the primary caregiver. He was the stay-at-home parent, meaning he didn't have like a work schedule. So anytime it was doable for me to bring them along with me for work, I did. I used to travel a lot for destination weddings, and for my clients' weddings, I would go along with them, do their hair, do their bridal party if they have one, and attend the wedding and hang out. And yeah, I also used to travel a lot for, I'm just going to grab a little bit more eyeliner. I used to travel for worldwide hair tours from Vanish. Vanish is the product line that I use. So every year they have like a worldwide hair tour in a different international city. I think it's up to about 50 countries now. 50 countries participate. And of course, when I was younger and before I had kids, I would go and work backstage in the show. It's a multi-day event. And then the last time that Johnny and I went, we got to attend. Like, we went as just regular hairstylists attending some show, but that was in Paris. That was fun. But that was all. The Paris trip was also my first time leaving my kids and with my husband. At that time, my daughter was only 9 months old, and I remember calling my mom in the middle of the night from the hotel bathroom, like, "What am I doing? Why am I here? I have a baby at home." What am I doing now? Oh, finish up the top of my eye look, I guess. So I'm gonna go in discontinued MAC 272, just a flat shader, and the shade Mandatory for under my brow, underbrow highlight. Actually, you know what, I haven't used a shimmer. Oops, kind of went overboard there. I haven't used a shimmer in my underbrow highlight in quite a while. I just had a thought of like, oh, maybe I want to try that today. But no, it's okay. This video is already like super long. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I gotta fix this brow now. Where's my... All right. And then, what am I doing? Dim light. Let's go dim light. Oh, lower lash line eyeliner. And let's smooth that out with a Refer 23. All right. Now it's time for mascara. And I do actually want to speed through mascara because I can take forever with my mascara. But I do want to point out that Sarah sent me a little mini, it's Tartelette tubing mascara. So I thought we'd try this. But I'm going to put on my lash primer first. Okay, let's test this little guy out. Trying to do it so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Sorry that my friend Mr. Zit is staring you right in the face. Wait, what do you guys think? First impression. Okay, now we're gonna top off my blush. I'm using the Evil Eye Hourglass palette. I'm gonna do, what blush is that? The Oasis Glow blush with BK Beauty 112. Yeah. Now we're going to do some setting spray. And then I usually go over top with a BK Beauty 104 and a finishing powder. This one is Hourglass finishing powder and soft light. So dim light I like for blending out my eyeshadow, and soft light I usually go in after the setting spray and just kind of dust this all over my face. Make sure my nasolabial folds aren't super creased. Oh, last thing. Okay, so my friend Shelly, hi Shelly, always has like the best lip combos. I told her that my goal for this year is to up my lip game. So the pressure's on, but we're still gonna start baby steps, right? So I have tons of lip products, lip liners, lip glosses, lipsticks, lip everything, lip oils. But I usually always just stick to like nudes or even just clear lip gloss or whatever. So I got a new lip liner. It's the MAC Cool Spice. So let's give this a go. I haven't tried it yet. Just came in the mail a couple days ago. And I know this is still nude or neutral. Kind of, yeah. I don't like colors on my lips. Like I always think that I do because I love color, but every time I put anything on my lips that's like got some pigment to it, or I'm like, I don't recognize myself. So trust me, even throwing on this lip liner is me putting effort into my lips. And I guess technically I'm supposed to put liner on because I'm aging and I have like fine lines and stuff. But I don't know what it is. How did that go on? You know, your traditional awesome MAC lip liner. I used to have the original Spice from like 20 years ago or whatever. Obviously don't have it anymore, so I'm happy to have this one. I like this. What do you guys think? I should show you this side of my face, right? Not my friend. Okay. And surprise, surprise, we're gonna go in with a nude lip gloss. The shade Nudie from Lawless Forget the Filler Plumping Lip Gloss. I think this is my favorite formula. Pretty. Maybe it's because, you know, my lips are on the small side or on the not so full side. And I'm 44 and no lip filler. I've always had tons of lines, fine lines in my lips, even when I was younger. My mom has it, my daughter has it, my son has it. So I guess I always thought, don't accentuate that. Anyway, okay, I think we're done. This is the final look. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for hanging in and watching this video. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.